tell me, does this sound familiar to you? You start meditating, you start journaling, you start doing hard things, you start in the gym, and you become better in the objective term, right? But you notice that you're not actually getting better. You're wondering, okay, so I've been doing all the good habits, I've been doing them for a couple of months. Why haven't I made any sort of sufficient improvement? And then you think, okay, so there is a delayed reaction. The habits I do today are not going to help me right away. But what they are going to do is they're going to help me in a couple of months down the line. So you keep doing it, and then eventually you fall off, right? One of the main reasons that a lot of people are not making the progress that they want to make is because they have not cut out the bad habits, the habits that were keeping them stuck at level 0, right? So it's very interesting. The bad habits that you are doing and the bad habits that you don't want to cut out are the reason you're not making the progress you want to make, right? So you might be meditating, you might be journaling, going to the gym, breath work, going out into the sun, challenging yourself, learning new skills. But you realize that it's not really working for you, even though you've been doing it for a couple of months. And the reason being is if you're still consuming adult content, right? And you're still scrolling social media, smoking weed, etc. What you don't realize is that you are leveling out your progress, right? So I say you're leveling out your progress because that's exactly what that is, right? You're making progress, but you're balancing it out with the bad habit. Do you understand me? So you're doing the good habit and it's pushing you this way, and then you're doing the bad habit and it's bringing you back to the center again. So it's an interesting concept, but it's like if you were to drive 3 miles straight and then just stick the car into reverse and drive back for 3 miles, or every time, right? You're driving up a hill. Here's a better analogy. You're driving up a hill and you want to make progress on this hill and get to the top first, but you stop on the hill, take your foot off the accelerator and start to roll back down. So then you put your foot on the brake, foot on the clutch, back onto the accelerator, and you start driving up the hill again, and then you decide to take your foot off the accelerator, roll back down, back onto the clutch, back up the hill, and you keep doing that. You're balancing out the progress you're making on that hill in that car by taking your foot off the accelerator and relaxing for a few minutes, indulging, right? And that's the way I want you to think of it, is you're balancing out your progress. So you're making a little bit of progress and then you are pushing yourself back. So that's what's happening with you. And it's a common theme I'm noticing amongst people, is that they don't cut out the bad habits but also start the good habits. And it's the reason why you're not making the progress that you need to be making. You understand me? Good. Right? So if you're at the start of your self-improvement journey and this is the first time you're coming across it, and you're analysing what good habits, well, you're doing the good habits that I've set out for you, and then you have a list of bad habits that you do every single night. What I'd want you to do is every couple of days, replace one of the bad habits with a good habit, right? It's kind of that simple. So We've went through this in another video anyway, but replace one of your bad habits, so maybe scrolling social media, with meditation. Replace adult film with the gym. You get me? Stuff like that. So replace one bad with one good. And then over time, you should have built up the good habits and don't have any of the bad habits. You understand? Good, right? But many of yous have been doing this for a while, I would assume. And what you end up doing is you keep making progress and you keep coming back. So how do you counteract that? Well, I would say something very similar to what I just said for the people starting off. Slowly start deloading. So progressively deload on your bad habits while progressively overloading your good ones. Do you understand me? So like, start with your scrolling, adult film, weed. Go today without the weed. Smoke it tomorrow. Adult film. If you usually do it 15 times in a week, bring that number down to 12 for the week and just keep progressively deloading it. If you spend 4 hours scrolling on social media every day, bring it down to 3 and just keep progressively deloading it while doing the bare minimum of the good habits to keep up with that, to keep the progress leveled, right? And then eventually you might go back down a hill a bit, but you're driving, and then you might go back down a little bit and you're taking 1 step back but 2 steps forward. And eventually you'll have stacked up all the good habits and you'll have cut out all the bad habits. And then you're going to be a lot happier. You're going to make the progress that you want to make, and you're not going to feel as behind. And it's okay to stay where you are for a certain amount of time, right? Because it is. It's very okay to stay where you are for a period of time if you're focusing on something else, right? But don't fall behind. You can't fall behind. You have to either make inches forward, but don't fall behind. And this is a foolproof way of doing that, right? Because eventually, everybody else and people who've started the journey before you who cut out the bad habits, they're going to make so much more progress than you, even though you started before them and you're doing the same habits they are, but you're also doing the bad habits. And it's a bad thing to happen, right? And then you're going to sit there and wonder, oh, this doesn't work for me. This is a scam. Self-improvement doesn't really work, blah, blah, which it does. And it works. There is the normal version of self-improvement and then adding the accountability side on top of that. So if you want to go back to my video, why self-improvement fails you, it was a bit of a clickbaity video, like, you know, but still it was important for the point I was trying to make. You get me? So because of that, just look at that video. You'll see I say some really big things. You're going to really resonate with it, because a lot of people are in the same boat when it comes to falling off. Even some of the biggest people you've looked at, people I respect and I admire, have fallen off. And I think I found a way to stop falling off, to stop people from falling off. Do you understand me? Right? So, inch forward every single day, and gradually, over time, that'll build itself up. It's very interesting, isn't it? But anyway, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you like this type of content. Follow my Instagram. Just why not? I'll start posting content on that when I start growing it, so start following it now. and I'll start posting. And I'm going to link my TikTok for you all to have a look at. And very interesting type of content on TikTok I am posting at the moment. So stay tuned. Have a lovely day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Just remember, the only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing. Mwah.